me tell you how the pod gods are just incredible to us. Just about 35 seconds ago, Eshaun brought back him shaking ass at work. If you are a longtime listener to podcasts, you know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what episode it was, but I know it was months and months ago. And we were talking about Eshaun shaking ass at work. And ironically, I just saw on Twitter that Sexyy Red is going to be on NXT next Tuesday, which I'm ecstatic about. I will be watching NXT live. It's something about her after she had that baby that is speaking to me. Wasn't really on Sexyy Red before that, but after that baby, I see the vision. But she shakes ass. Eshaun, you shake ass. Evidently, because you didn't tell the last part of that story on the podcast. I need you to say what that guy told you that saw you shaking ass at work.
So I don't think we told the story at all. I think we alluded to the story, but I don't think we ever really talked about it. So
maybe so. Okay.
So yeah, so I manage a small office, and it's a big retail area. But right around the corner from the retail area is my desk and office. And so I'll put up the camera so I can see the retail area. And I was working alone this day, and I got music playing. You come into my office, and I got the best of the '80s R&B playing, a little best of the R&B playing. Right, so I'm doing my paperwork, and Kool and the Gang come on, man. I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling this Kool and the Gang song, right? And you know what I'm saying? So my hips start moving, and I didn't know what was happening, y'all. I mean, my leg started shaking, and like it's just like the music was like taking me on a journey. You know what I'm talking about? And then I start shaking a little ass, Kool and the Gang, right? So I'm feeling it, right? I don't even know what's happening, but the paperwork is getting done. The cheeks is wiggling. And then all of a sudden, I felt like some pressure, right? So I felt like some pressure on me, like somebody was looking at me, like uninvitedly, So all of a sudden, here's you got, and for all the video people, you got to kind of just look over a little bit like this, and you can see me in my area. So I'm sitting there, shaking ass, Kool and the Gang, and all of a sudden, I look over and I see a man like looking over at me, and I'm like, he goes, "You need to put that on TikTok." And I say, "Sir, how can I help you today?" And we move on.
He told you how you could help him. He told you how you could help him. He would have been your number one follower on TikTok if you would have been shaking ass to Kool and the Gang on TikTok. Rhodesia, so Eshaun shakes ass to Kool and the Gang. What has been, Rhodesia, the worst song that you have shaken ass to? That maybe in the middle of it, or maybe when it was done, you was like, I can't believe I shook ass to that.
Any and all catchy gospel songs. Because Oh Baby would twerk.
Oh, boy.
I would twerk to a gospel song.
You are about to hear.
That's blasphemy. What's happening right now? We going.
You may rather shake ass to Kool and the Gang than to Jesus Christ. Man, shaking ass to Jesus Christ is nuts. Wow.
Some of these gospel songs beats going hard. And so you just got to go with the rhythm. The natural rhythm of my body.
Unless it's Kirk Franklin stomp, or he's got a lot of bangers, but I got a feeling it wasn't Kirk Franklin.
I'm telling you, it's a lot of these gospel songs be getting it.
Oh boy. But yes, Sexyy Red in the house for NXT next week. It's amazing how far we've gotten in such a short amount of time. Of course, it's been a long time, but you think about like the turn, and we're going to talk about AEW, just 5 years, which we'll clap it up for that when we get to that, which is incredible. But just think about like Sexyy Red, like the most non-PG female rapper that is out.
Hey, you guys want to know a secret?
She's going to be on NXT.
You want to know a secret?
What's that?
I don't know that. I don't know who that is.
Oh gosh, got it.
Stop shaking ass to Kool and the Gang and start shaking some ass to Sexyy Red. Episode 136 of the TFW podcast. That's Freaking Wrestling, the best kept secret in wrestling podcast. Today, I'm your host, Matt, joined by my usual suspects, Eshaun and Rhodesia. You guys may know us as Three the Hard Way.
Three the Hard Way.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. We appreciate that. And we appreciate everybody who watches, who listens, who comments. Y'all still ain't doing what I'm asking you to do. I've asked damn near almost every week, hey, go however you listen to us. 5 stars, comments, et cetera, et cetera. We ain't had a comment that I can see in months. and we see the numbers. Speaking of the numbers, Bushman he thought it was hilarious. He left a YouTube comment, I think a couple episodes ago. We talked about Ghana, right? We are actually number 17 in Ghana.
Hey,
in wrestling podcast. Shout out to Belgium. Number 32 in wrestling podcast in Belgium. Australia. Somebody's out there. So shout out to our Aussies. Aussie. But we're 241.
Oi.
So I really need you guys to tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a family member. And United States, y'all not repping for us at all on the charts of podcasts. So I'll leave it at that because I don't want to alienate our U.S. fan base. But we love everybody in this world. We do. We love everybody. I think I have a topic that I really want to get into. And it's the Cody Rhodes topic that I alluded to on Sunday's show. And hey, everything worked out because he went on Busted Open on Monday and gave a little bit more to what I had to talk about. So it is entirely up to you. This entire show is up to you too. We can go to Raw. You guys can lead that. We can do the AEW 5 years. We could talk King, Queen of the Ring, or we can start with the Cody Rhodes topic. Where do y'all want to start?
Start with Cody.
All right. So do either you two know what I'm talking about here?
Not at all. I don't even know what you talked about last episode about him.
All right. So this is in regards to WrestleMania 40. So let's rewind a little bit. So last week on the Masked Man show, Bron Breakker, who is Rock's right-hand man when it comes to creative, et cetera, he was on the show. And let me pull this up. He said Cody Rhodes was supposed to act differently when he gave up his WrestleMania 40 spot to The Rock. He said, Cody is a human being who is genuine and real, and he wears his heart and emotion on his sleeve. In Alabama, that was, of course, the SmackDown show that was after the Royal Rumble. He said, certainly, even if you tell me that would never work. Stupid to propose it. The idea was supposed to be, it's like the Nixon-Kennedy debate. A little bit where you read the transcript, you're like, Nixon kicked his ass. If you watch the actual footage, he was a sweaty, terrible mess. Cody, it was supposed to be in some form. Yeah, fucking A. Go get him, Rock. You're going to get your ass kicked, Roman. Let's do this. In this uplifting promo. Instead, he looked like someone shot his dog in the face in the parking lot. Just look at his expression. By the way, someone else, even when the team wins, looks forlorn and upset and despondent. And he said Julius Randle, which is funny if you guys watch the Knicks. Then he says, that I don't think helped matters. It might not have changed or affected anything, certainly on paper, and I don't blame Cody for that. He's real and one of the realest people I've ever met. He said what he had to say in the promo, but you couldn't mask what he was really feeling. And I think the fans felt that a lot. They felt like he doesn't mean a word of this. This is being forced for him to say he's despondent. He's literally doing the Michael Tiro, whatever. All right. So that was kind of his thing. His thing is, hey, we had the piece of business we were supposed to do. Cody went out there and conducted business, but his face shoes showed what he was really feeling. Cody was then on Busted Open on Monday. And he said he found out the day of the Royal Rumble that there was a high probability, or there was a chance, that it could be Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. He talked a little bit about, imagine how can I be upset hearing that because I'm still winning the Royal Rumble. At that time, the plan was supposed to be Cody taking on Seth Rollins for the championship. But then he said, whatever, the emotions got the best of him, whatever. So, to summarize, Bron Breakker says, hey, business was done, but Cody didn't react the way he needed to get that story over. We saw right through it. Of course we did. Remember, I was the one out here, and I told you guys. I think people believe me by now, but I said then, and that wasn't the first episode of TV where I told you could see it on Cody's face, he's stressed. I said it on that show. Of course, that was like the common sense one. But even leading up to that, like the week before, I was like, he's not looking like he's really enjoying being where he's at. He's looking stressed because The Rock is here. So now we know 100% that was the case. And then Cody says, hey, I found out that night at the Rumble that it may not be me, but how can I be upset? Because I'm still going to go to WrestleMania. I'm still winning the Royal Rumble. My question to both of you, and this is a serious question. It sounds like there's no heat on Cody Rhodes. At the end of the day, we know this was best 100% than any other thing they could have done at WrestleMania 40, including Rock versus Roman Reigns. A face Rock versus heel Roman Reigns. Well, we got night 1, night 2 blows that out the water. No matter what they had planned. That's just how I feel. But we got to get to the elephant in the room. The point of being a professional wrestler is to work the fans and to show in your mannerisms and your facial expressions, you have a story to tell, and we tell that story. Do you look at Cody Rhodes any differently that he could not go out and tell the story that he needed to tell, and maybe using that to his advantage to say, you know what, if I go out here and not put my all into it, maybe, just maybe, the fans will see it and we'll get this entire thing turned around where I can still get Roman at Mania and get my finishing the story.
I was trying to pull up while you were doing all that talking, kind of when the Alabama show came up and after Royal Rumble. Before
Alabama was February 2nd. The Rumble was the last Saturday in January.
Like the 26th or 27th, something like that, probably.
Mhm.
Okay. So it was a week later. So I was just kind of thinking through everything that you said there. If Cody said, and I'll get to answering your question in a second. If Cody said that he was told the night of Royal Rumble and he was okay with it, but he also probably was under the impression maybe he'll be going toward Seth. But then he came out that next week or the next time we saw him saying, I'm coming after you, Roman, with conviction. And that would have been technically after the fact that he knew that it's going to be a probability it wouldn't be him and Roman, but Rock and Roman. That kind of is throwing me off there because then you already kind of knew this ahead of time. Now we go into, did he not do what he was supposed to do? Meaning, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. Your assignment is to get this over as a professional wrestler. It's hard for me to say that he purposely put on this and didn't fake the funk to be able to say, hey, see, they're not buying it. They're not buying it. It's kind of hard for me to just say he did that on purpose. But like you said, as a professional wrestler, this is what you have to do. You have to get this script over. You have to get this gimmick over. You have to get that over. And he did not do that. Like you said, how you started before you talked about all of that there. We got the best possible thing that could have happened out of all of this. The pivot gave us a blessing that we didn't even know in disguise. But do I probably feel a certain way about Cody? Maybe. Because if you're the consummate professional, you are supposed to get that, whatever that is, over. But I guess, again, there's no heat on him. Because guess what we got out of it? One of my favorite WrestleMania matches 2 nights ever.
Tell y'all something. I'm tired of being humble, y'all. I came out on that podcast as a gracious winner in a WrestleMania 40. We all were winners. But I ain't being humble no more, y'all. Instead of coming here complaining and asking these questions, we should be saying, thank you, Cody. Thank you, Cody, for stepping up and fixing another mistake 2 years in a row. You understand? We didn't get the finish we wanted in 39. We wasn't about to get it in 40. Cody, professional, unprofessional. Thank you, Cody, because we got the best Rock we've ever seen. We got the best main event we've ever seen. We got the best moments we've ever seen. Cody, thank you. Don't let them take no food off your plate. Take food out your baby's mouth. The hell with a professional. Hulk Hogan, what did he say years ago? Huh?
He said
This
everything.
don't work for me, brother.
He
This don't
said
work
a
for me,
lot.
brother.
Okay.
He said a whole lot of different
This
things.
I didn't know
don't
where
work
you was
for
going.
me, brother.
Yeah, okay. He said way more than that, but okay, cool.
This don't work for me, brother. Stone Cold took his ass home years ago when he said he wasn't going to job to no Brock Lesnar on no free TV. Your boy The Rock, he killed his whole franchise when he said, look, this is what we gonna do with Black Adam. He made a stand, y'all. It didn't work out for him, but it worked out for Cody. It worked out for the WWE universe. Because whatever they had planned wasn't as good as what we got. It wasn't as great as what we got. The moments that we saw happen on WrestleMania 40 would have never occurred how we had played ball. Sometimes you got to fight for what you believe in. Sometimes you got to be unprofessional to move your career ahead. Sometimes you don't take yes. Sometimes you say, hell no, we going to do it my way. Sometimes you got to take a chance. And that man took a chance in Alabama, goddammit. And we won.
I agree with everything you said except the unprofessional part. I'm with you all the way around.
Yeah, but he didn't. But I like that.
No. If you guys are saying he's unprofessional because he wasn't able to show happy emotion because he is down bad, right? This is supposed to be his moment. He thought all year that he worked fan by fan, brick by brick. And then all of a sudden, on his night of execution, hey, Cody, hey, there's a chance that, we're going to go with Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. So, go out there and, have a great match.
Oops. But the way that Brian Gerwertz is saying, Cody knew that night of Royal Rumble.
Guess what? Brian can kiss my ass. I don't care what Brian say, goddamn. I'm telling you what me and Cody talked about in my dreams.
Got it.
Okay, in my dreams. Wow. This is the conversations we had.
Thank
you, Cody. That's all we need to say.
Was Cody the one that was watching you shake ass? He probably was. That makes a lot of sense now. I don't think either one of us said, and great promo by you, Eshaun, great promo. I don't think either one of us said he was unprofessional. What I will say is I am going to reserve judgment until this documentary comes out, which the documentary is now allegedly gone from, I think it was scheduled to only be 10 or 15 minutes on YouTube. And then now it's up to, I think, like an hour and a half. So I can't wait to watch. Yeah.
Interview of what? The Masked Man one?
The documentary.
The documentary on what?
Remember the documentary that they showed the promo after night one of Mania that was showing the behind the scenes?
No.
About Mania? You do. Remember? And then they talked about the pivot. They even said the pivot. So
it's supposed to be that Wednesday.
I've been a part of some crazy builds, but yes, it was supposed to be that Wednesday.
They never played
on YouTube.
It?
No, it's not out yet. And they keep pushing it back. And every time they push it back, we keep hearing there's more footage being added to it. So it went from being like a 10-minute video to a few weeks ago. It was like, hey, we're still working on it, but now it's up to an hour. I think the last thing I heard was it's up to an hour and a half now of footage. So what I'm excited to see, one, how much they really, really give it up. Two, if there's any damage control from Rock and maybe Gerwertz and, his team with how this came to be. Because Cody said what you guys will see in the documentary was I found out about the potential of Roman and Rock the day of the Royal Rumble. That was what he said on Busted Open. So I'm going to reserve judgment on anything like that until I see that. And they're still going to present whatever they want us to see. But I do think that this is going to be fantastic. I've been waiting since night, or it would have been that Wednesday after Mania to see this, and they keep pushing it back. I think it's going to be incredible. And I think they have, because they said it was never allegedly supposed to be announced it was coming out that next week on YouTube. Well, they ran it after night one and night two, so I don't believe
exactly.
That. But I do wonder if they're trying to wait to show it to further along the storyline. It could be one of those where it's still all real, what we see, but maybe they're waiting for a particular moment or time to where, okay, now, hey, let's get people back thinking about Cody and Rock. Or let's get people back thinking about Seth, whatever the case may be. So I'm excited to see it. But I do have my thoughts on it, but I do think if Cody really wanted to suppress his facials and such, he could have. He fucking did Stardust for years and he didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it worked out, and I think everybody knows that Cody's the guy, so nobody is taking it the opposite way. But I do think, and maybe we'll have some fun, and E can absolutely be the pro Cody guy after the doc, and either you or I can be the con Cody guy and have that conversation. But I thought it was really, really interesting. Thought it was really interesting.
Thank you,
on that.
Cody. Thank you.
Before we leave this, I would think that if more information's coming out, it's only to either one is going to push the Rock's narrative. So whatever that is, because we know that everything that he does is by precision, right? Pew, pew,
Right.
pew, precision. So if it's going to make him look worse, which I think it probably, this hour and a half footage probably would make Rock look worse, more of the bad guy, maybe him going into business for himself. If they are able to do that creatively, like you said, that can plug in time-wise to make people, the fans now kind of turn on Rock. So now there's even more heat on the Rock. So that's the first thing that I thought of. You're saying it didn't come out yet, and I thought that maybe I just missed it because I knew we were busy that week of Mania. I'm like, well, maybe I just didn't get a time to see that Wednesday documentary. But you're saying it never even came out.
Yeah, no, and I think it's going to be damage control for The Rock. I don't think it'd be the opposite. That documentary is not going to come out and there's going to be heat on The Rock, in my opinion, because that is a real life documentary, because we got to make it look great. So if
but Rock is a bad guy, you don't want it to look good. I know
that. But no, he's still The Rock. So you do want that to look right, because this is a real life documentary. The same way when we get the docs on the network or on Peacock now, it doesn't matter if you heel or face, you're going to be putting the Roman Reigns doc on A&E the Sunday before Mania. Made him look like the biggest face in the world. That doesn't change what happens on, the television that they present. But I do think they're adding more to make the story make sense to whatever story they're going to try to say. Because as of right now, if we're just looking at the line we draw in the sand, we got The Rock and his team kind of saying one thing, and then we got Cody kind of saying something else. But we got The Rock people saying, but Cody's a stand-up guy. Cody, he's the man. Hey, he wears his emotions on his sleeve. Hey, he just can't hide his disappointment. But that is a little bit different from what we were told, kind of. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm excited for it. Speaking of excitement, if I wanted to work myself into a shoot, I would not have been excited on Raw Monday. Two of my favorites lost. EO lost. And I was like, damn, okay. And then I really worked myself into Jey Uso versus Tama Tonga, as I was like, because the quicker we get Roman back on TV, the quicker all is well, right? The quicker Cody can find his spot as the number 3 guy in the company once Roman gets back behind Roman and Jey. But he lost too. It actually got tapped. Or actually passed out by Gunther.
Passed out.
Yeah, so, but that was if I was really working myself into just through the storylines. But I was invested in both those matches. The people who I wanted to win did not win. What you guys think of Raw? Y'all can kind of wherever way y'all want to go with Raw.
For me, I didn't really get to watch Raw fully. Like, my full attention was not on Raw. I saw a couple of the matches, but that's about it. I did try to make sure that I paid attention to the main event. And that did kind of throw me in a loop there. Because, again, I was still thinking as of Sunday show that Jey was going to be the king of the ring. But now it goes back to Gunther, probably the original, who we thought would win. It makes me now think, is this more of just who can be at in Saudi bigger names? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, for the king, because where are we going with this? So is it going to be Randy Orton versus Gunther?
Yes.
And is that purely off of just what Saudi wanted? And if that is the case, then I kind of feel like, I had so many great praises for this tournament. And if that's kind of what we have, I just don't want to talk out of two sides of my neck, because I still love Gunther, and I think
you did already
should be king. Yeah, but I
think weeks ago we all said Gunther should be the king.
Yes,
and we worked ourselves up because we saw that we was like But I'm sure the same people who asked for Yokozuna and Ultimate Warrior did not ask for Gunther to be crowned king of the ring in their country. So I'm sure they didn't ask for that. Now they may have asked for Orton, but there's no way we're getting Gunther versus Tama. We're getting Orton versus Gunther.
Yeah.
And I am really excited for that match.
Yeah, when I watched it, it's just as Matt said, like, I knew going into it that this was Gunther's tournament to win, right? And we knew that Jey going in there, is kind of a consolation prize, right? Because Drew was originally supposed to be in there. I wonder what would have happened with him, right? What kind of story would have told to get him out of the the King of the Ring, or was he scheduled to win it? Right, but
you would think it would have to be something with Punk, right? Like Punk interfering, or one of them type of things. Yeah,
that could have added some fire to the fuel, though. But I gotta tell you, man, like I always pick Gunther, but I can't tell you that I wasn't a little disappointed when Jey lost.
Yep.
Hell, the way he
almost
came
felt
in.
like
Man.
Rhodesia, man. Look.
Beautiful.
I'll come back to that entrance, but I almost felt like I did when Jey Uso lost at SummerSlam. Like, right? Like we all kind of expected Roman to win, but boy was I disappointed that Jey lost. Like, right? And I remember after the end of that match on Monday Night Raw, and then Jey Uso just passed out. And then it kind of, for me on my feed, I watch on Sling TV. It kind of just faded out and went to the next show.
And I do wonder, no, that wasn't just your feed. That was everywhere. I do wonder if that was done intentionally. And we're sitting there watching, and there's been times where they've been super up against it. There wasn't a reason for them to be super up against it if you watch the way they worked that match. So I'm sitting there, and like literally 7 seconds after the match is over, we're done. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And I was like, I wonder if they did that intentionally. So you move on really quick, right? Like you're not sitting there watching Gunther celebrate and you got Jey down on the cell, or you know what I'm saying? I really wonder if that was done by design to kind of, all right, yep, we're going to crown Gunther, but we're not going to harp on Jey lost. All right, that's it.
I can see that for sure.
I said that to say this though, because at SummerSlam, Jey, after, he lost, right? Roman was gone, like Jey kind of sat in the middle of the ring. And then everyone kind of just quietly started getting up and leaving. Right? It wasn't no thank you, Jey, or good job. Everyone just kind of like, oh, okay, it's over. Everybody started just getting up, and everybody just started quietly leaving, right? Because I felt like the arena was like dejected. And that's how I was at the end of that show. Now, I already made myself stay up way past late to watch this main event, knowing that Gunther probably was going to win. But I still felt dejected at the end of that match. And so when the show just ended, I just ended too. I got up, turned the TV off, got my shit, walked up the steps, and got into bed, right? Like I felt like somebody kicked me in the stomach or something. I just left. And in Rhodesia, going back to that entrance, you get Jey Uso, and this is the awesome thing about this new Triple H era, right? And thank you, Cody, for putting a little gravitas onto the whole thing, right? But you got Jey walking out, he's like, yeah, come on. It's like we go on a journey with Jey, though, just to go through the curtain, right? This for him to get out there and like the arena ready for him. And they immediately start waving, they hype, Jey, doing a little dance to get out there. The whole crowd's doing the wave. Like, man, like, do they not understand the magic they have right now? I guess they do. They know what to do with a baby face. Like, I guess because they were willing to sabotage Cody 2 years in a row. I'm starting to get suspicious because how many losses can Jey have before we as a fan like, you know what? Jey can't win the big one. I guess maybe that's the storyline. Jey can't win the big one, right? Until he wins the big one.
He won that little punk ass match against his brother at WrestleMania,
and that was it.
That.
Really, I mean, when you look at any other Jey matches his won. Big wins, and that match sucked.
Yeah.
And I think that's funny that you say that because we thought the same about Drew. Remember, Drew had either lost 11 or 13 straight title matches. Ooh. And we don't even look at that now because he's been booked really strong after that, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like they have we know they have their plan, right? But I feel like with them going to Germany, are they going to Germany in August? Wherever Bash at the Berlin is, I think that is going to be main evented by Gunther against somebody. But so I think the story, this is Gunther's story. And I think Jey's story, once again, is the bloodline. I think that's his story. Now, if he's the one that's going to go save Heyman first, is he the one that's going to bring back Jimmy? Because Jimmy wasn't drafted to either Raw or SmackDown. Like, I think that's his story. And what they have to do is just continue somehow to build him up and not have him feel like, hey, he's just gonna be putting in big matches to lose. But it's getting close to that for me because I don't know what else you can do with him. The Intercontinental Championship is by Sammy. Right now, Sammy's with Chad Gable. Can't see him getting involved in that. He ain't getting involved in a tag team if it's not his brother. So, okay, that ain't the belt. He ain't world champion right now material. So that ain't it. And he just look and say, okay, like, then all right, then what is he? Like, how often can we just have him out here coming out getting the strongest reactions of anybody on Raw, doing the yeet, and then when it's time for him to get over that hump, he doesn't get over that hump.
So remember how you asked, I know you just asked the question, but let me ask you a question, both of y'all. Now you asked, was Jade worth it? Her being in this tournament for nothing? Essentially, nothing. I mean, it gives her some at-bats at wrestling, sure. But will we say that Jey was in this for nothing?
Well, at this point, yeah, because he originally wasn't supposed to be in the match, which would kind of make sense, right? If he's not going to be in the tournament, why have him go through it? But damn, sometimes you gotta, like, they've already seen that sometimes you gotta, when you pivot, the good things that happen from it. I know they got a story they're trying to tell with Gunther and the King of the Ring. And here's the thing, I don't know if I actually wanted to see a King Jey Uso.
Right.
No, right? I don't know.
King,
I don't know if I want to see that.
No,
King,
like, it don't even. Yeah, his crown wouldn't even go with his yeet. Like that's. So we no.
To me, the pivot will be the World Championship right now. Drew's injured, CM Punk's injured, like, right? Seth, I'm presuming is still injured. Jey is your top baby face on Raw right now. Probably number one, maybe 1B. I mean, so number 1B baby face the entire company right now, how hot he is. Like, right? How do you not have a main event storyline for main event Jey Uso? And Matt, you said the road leads back down to the bloodline, but maybe that's the case. But I think that Jey Uso is above being second fiddle to Roman Reigns in the bloodline story. He done been there, done that already. Like,
that's why I said, I wonder.
We can get there. We get there eventually. Because look, if Jey comes in there and starts leading the everyone back, right? Who's the real head of the table? Who's the real big dog, so to speak, right? It's Roman Reigns. He's gonna come over there and he gonna big up Jey. And now Jey going back down to the second fiddle. Like, they need to invest in that man, and they need to come out with a main event storyline. They need to go back to the lab and tweak some stories, because they got at least a good 6 months of story they can tell with Jey Uso on top. Now, I'm not saying he's gonna be a permanent fixture there, but they certainly can give him a 6-month run.
So, a couple things. One, maybe the world title leads to Drew McIntyre and CM Punk for the belt. That is not that feud, because that feud's been cooking since January. That feud is not worth blowing up if you already had a plan on either having the belt on Drew, like, say, through the summer, or giving the belt to Punk sometime in the summer. Moving Jey Uso up isn't worth blowing that feud up. And then I will now backtrack a tiny bit, because Rhodesia, you asked the question of, was it worth it for Jey to be in the King of the Ring? I'm going to say yes. And the reason why I say yes is because I think Jey is more popular today than he was before they hit France. I think France kind of put him in a whole nother level. I think that took him to a stratosphere. And then after that, he got into the King of the Ring, and then he won 2 matches. But I think his popularity is bigger now than it was 3 weeks ago. So if that's the case, then it's a positive.
But when you mentioned the CM Punk, but I'm sorry, Rhodesia, right before you go, when you mentioned CM Punk and Drew, like, when them boys coming back? Them boys has been injured forever, right? Their storyline is kind of just circle jerking, right at this point. Like, right? So we don't know. We don't get them boys back in the ring. And they need to be careful with Punk. Punk has been injury prone for the past, 3 years since he's been back, right? So let that man get healthy so he can be ready to go. What's spinning right now is Damian Priest's championship. Like, I think the most important champion on Raw right now is Sami Zayn, to be honest with you right now.
I wouldn't argue with that. Because I don't really care so much for Becky's title right now, just because the controversy that came with her winning it. But so I would agree that
And we know that
maybe
wasn't
Sammy's belt is
planned.
it, and we know it wasn't planned, right?
Yeah, we know it wasn't planned.
Mhm.
But Sammy, yeah, because Damian Priest's his storyline is with the Judgment Day. He didn't even have a storyline he's in right now, and that's why I'm wondering if the whole point is to get him and Drew takes the belt off of him. You brought up the injuries real quick, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but listen to this list of injuries: Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Jimmy Uso, Bobby Lashley, Dominic Mysterio, Zelina Vega, Rhea Ripley, Asuka, Charlotte, and the other couple I have on here are NXT. I bring that up to say that's a hell of a pay-per-view lineup for stars that's out. And then secondly, the injury bug, man. Like I know we talked before. This AEW was really going through their injury thing. And I was like, we got to be careful of like pigeon, holding like certain promotions and such. I think it's everywhere. And then find out Julia fractured her wrist, but I guess she's still scheduled to show up at the Performance Center. She's still going to be there. But it's like, damn, man. And some of these injuries, they're just unavoidable. They're not neck injuries. You know what I'm saying? They're not from taking moves. It's just a physical sport. But they got an all-star crew out injured right now.
Yep, that definitely is your A class right there. Out.
Who is if you had to take one? Okay, let's do this and not be disrespectful. If you had to take one off the list, but you got to put a healthy person on the list, who are you taking off and who are you putting on right now today?
Only because I can't remember everything that you said. I'm going to just go with, oh God. Okay, this is bad. How about I don't want to put a healthy person on because I don't want to wish bad on them. So let me just say.
He's got to go 1 for 1. Okay. You got to go 1 for 1.
I'll take Charlotte and I'll put in Becky.
Okay. E?
Man, that's a list though, man.
I know.
Give me. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
See, look, Becky was supposed to go away for a while. She didn't get a chance to go away. So I'm actually not disrespecting Becky. I'm trying to give her
You're not
vacation.
giving her the Mox treatment.
I'm giving her vacation. I am giving her Mox treatment right now. I want her to go and spend some time with her husband because that's the storyline to me that could probably we can keep moving and we don't have to do any major changes and shakeups.
Give me CM Punk.
Okay.
And I would give you Kofi Kingston.
Okay. I mean, that doesn't.
They just say Jimmy.
Yeah. Okay, so you took Punk, Rhodesia. You took Charlotte. So I'm gonna be different just for the fun of it. Give me Rhea Ripley off the list. And I'm trying to think of somebody that's close to like, it's got to be somebody who's like semi-main event because I can go Tegan Knox and like, okay, that's not fair.
Right. But why is that not fair?
Because like she's not even on TV, I don't think. So yeah, if I'm getting Rhea, like
you're pretty quick with it.
That's what I said, 1 for 1.
Really good.
Got to be 1 for 1.
I'd have been stuck.
You know who I'm gonna put on the shelf? This is crazy to say.
Spit it out.
And I'm gonna just wrap it, and we can move on to another subject.
Cool.
Put Jey Uso out, and then hopefully when he comes back, he gets the biggest reaction return in the history, and he gets something crazy. So I just did that just to transition to another topic. What else from Raw?
I'm
gonna say probably nothing else from Raw. We can probably just go into the King and Queen of the Ring.
Real quick. We briefly talked about the EO. Man, I was shocked. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all want to move on? I was shocked.
Okay, I was trying not to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about EO. You give us the proper Nakamura video package because I believe what she's saying beforehand.
That was definitely Nakamura.
You give us that. I'm like, hell yeah, Queen EO. I love the sound of it. It makes perfect sense. She's been on a roll. And she lost. I'm just because I'm emotionally invested into EO. I would have liked for her to win the King. Now it's got to be Queen Nia. Like, Lyra's not beating Nia Jax. Sorry. And we're not getting a Bianca Lyra match in Saudi. That doesn't make sense. You know, Bianca's been selling that knee for a couple weeks now. But I would have loved for EO to have had that after dropping the title to Becky at Mania. You know, to me, that would have been like an awesome consolation prize because we could still have a really good argument and conversation around was EO's title reign maximized as much as it should have been. And I say no, because like half her reign was about the turmoil within Damage Control. And the other half, like she got to show what she could do in the ring, but it seemed like that was few and far between. Maybe that's like revisionist history, me just kind of like going back and thinking about it. But I really thought that would have been cool. Like, it's not going to kill her. From the way it looks, her and Lyra aren't done with each other. Actually, I think that's what she said in Japanese, according to social media at one point. Like, I'm not done with you, or we're not done yet. But yeah, I was like, damn, they actually did it.
I would imagine that if she had the title for the time that she had it, and she drops it at Mania, I would not have thought that she should have won the Queen of the Ring after that. Because we talked about usually when you have these gimmicks of a Money in the Bank, King, Queen of the Ring, these gimmicks is usually for somebody who's probably you want to put the rocket strap on. So I would say when we got to last night and we got Lyra and we got EO. For starters, did you see, this is the first time I've ever really saw, which I thought was strange, that Lyra looked a little nervous in the ring. Did you peep that in the beginning? She was breathing hard. And I doubt that was her psychology because it was before the match started.
I think I was still just hype over EO's entrance and music
yeah,
at that point.
Lyra looked a little bit like shook a little bit. So I don't know, maybe she hasn't had enough like sparring with each other with EO. So maybe she was nervous about maybe even like language barrier or something. But I could tell that, or I felt like she was kind of like, okay, let's see what's about to happen here. And I don't think that was Lyra's best match that we've seen in these last 3 weeks either. But I didn't think EO would have won from the beginning of that match last night because of what I just said, that it should have maybe been somebody else to put that rocket strap on. And EO had it for the last year almost, the championship.
Man, I just didn't expect them to put the strap on Lyra like this, to be quite honest with you. To me, I guess at this point, it seems like we're going to get Nia Jax and Lyra at the Super Show. And I guess, damn, that's a super match? I don't know. That's a super match on SmackDown or Raw, to be honest with you. Because, like, Lyra right now, I mean, I like the girl. I watched her in NXT. And it seems that the audience has warmed up to her very, very quickly. Damn, is that the match? That's the match they wanted to go with?
Quick, very quick, which I'm happy for. And I said it wasn't a diss. I know y'all didn't think it was a diss, but like when I said, like, I'm surprised how quick because like when you watch her, I was watching Raw Monday, and I said I wonder what it's like to not know these characters until we see them on WWE TV. And I thought about that because watching Lyra, and I don't know if 3 weeks in, me seeing what they've presented so far, me being like, oh, she's a player already. Like she's a top player. But because I've seen her in NXT and I know her story, of course I'm super invested in her. Like what they did with Bron, you could got it. He's a monster that will run through anybody. Okay, I can see that. But with Lyra, it's like so far they're just it's like she doesn't have a gimmick. And that's fine. I'm not saying everybody's got to be some type of over the top, but I'm just really interested in the reactions. But I will say this though, she got that promo after the match. The crowd kind of wasn't there for that promo.
No,
I think even they were kind of like us, where they were like, "Man, you beat EO."
We
I
don't.
feel
We
like the
don't.
promo
Like,
was
hey,
long as hell. Was it not?
it just was a little bit longer than it should be. It wasn't that
Yeah.
long. But it was
Okay,
a
I
little
was
longer
like,
than it should
dang.
be. So to be honest with you, when you watch NXT, like the Lara Valkyrie that we see on Raw is the same one that we saw on NXT, and I wouldn't necessarily say that the character itself was like, we came from like the old superstars of wrestling, right? Like I don't put her in that vein as of yet. Like, right? Like Nia Jax, when she came back, she's a superstar.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like charismatic. She looks good. She can go. She has the look. She has it. Lyra has something, but I don't think we as viewers know what she has yet to put her in this position. But at the same time, if Sky won, that means that we can't have a Sky versus Nia Jax match at the King and Queen of the Ring, right? So
Yep.
I guess this was the plan all along. But the question I asked, okay, so like a lot of people wanted the Dragon to be in this position. Like I wonder, would it be a similar situation have they made somebody like, right? Sometimes the audience isn't ready for a certain act to be made in the moment. I think these are the kind of situations they put people in to where they can get us ready and primed for them, right? We can see what they're doing. We can get their character. So when they're ready to go, they're ready to go. But I don't think she's ready just yet. I think I want to see, like, I would say if it's character development, I think she's at maybe a 5 right now. I like to see her get to at least a 7.
You brought up Dragunov. Did you see him tweaking out when they showed Bron Breakker? That boy was tweaking out. I don't know what was going on with it. We know he is super passionate and he is super on 10 all the time with his intensity. He was tweaking out. So I don't know if we got to get Dragunov and Bron Breakker. I do like what they're doing with Bron though.
Big
Hate
time.
his music. His music starts off great, but
El
I like
Generico.
how it's like one of those like common sense things. Like, yeah, I'm destroying your show because you couldn't even put me in the King of the Ring. Like, I love, this is what it should be about. Like, I'm here to compete. And you don't want to put me in the competition. All right, this is on you then. And I also love it too, because I feel like Brian knows, okay, what are you going to do? Like, fire me off Raw, I'll go to SmackDown.
Right.
And that's what I thought. And they still may go that way. That's what I thought. When they had their face-to-face, I thought Pierce would be like, you got one more time and you're out of here or something. And, Brian would have said, okay, well, see you next week or something to that effect. I did think at some point, yeah, I was like, maybe they're trying to move him to SmackDown, which would be hilarious. He signed to SmackDown, then he got drafted to Raw just to go back to SmackDown. I don't know, but I do like what they're doing with him.
And okay, so then I know said we were leaving Raw, but his spears, gores, whatever we want to call it, they were all sick last night. Like every single one of them that he did, and how he went around the ref and got him on the side, how he got Ricochet flush against the production boxes. They were incredible. Incredible. Outside the ring, running. Oh, beautiful.
Hey, I gotta tell you something. After I saw that spear, like I agree with you. Rhodesia.
Which one?
Any of them. I agree with you. Like they look good, but after he hit it, like, yeah, that looked good. But like, damn, everybody do the freaking spear.
But
yeah,
he does it with some intensity though.
And so here's the thing though. But here's what I'm saying though, is that everyone does the spear, and for most of the guys, it's not even their finish. But you got Roman Reigns. They got Roman Reigns, who's one of the biggest. He's their attraction now, right? This is his finisher, and Braun is doing a spear that almost arguably looks better than his, like right as a spot in the match. Like I feel like he needs to put an edict out.
That's not his finish.
No,
that's not his finish. You're
it's
right.
Like a jackhammer or something, right? Like or something.
I do think everybody but Roman needs to retire the spear. Like Roman does his like Superman, like he's jumping in it, where Braun does it like he's tackling you on the football field. I think everybody else should eliminate the spear from their move. If you can't do it as good as Braun, don't do it. Moves. That's perfect segue, which I didn't even have it planned that way. I said on Sunday, I had a question about moves. Got to answer it. The move is the frog splash. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you 3 names. You have to put them in your particular order from best I'm not even say the worst because they're all fantastic. But give it to me 1, 2, 3. Okay. Rob Van Dam, Eddie Guerrero, Montez Ford.
And what are we rating this on?
Your favorite frog splash.
Not
I'm
favorite
gonna go.
wrestler.
I'm just gonna go because
Yep.
we just need some time. It's the
Seriously.
order you just get. It's the order you just gave, Matt, for me.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
RVD's frog splash to me, especially when I first saw it, because like I didn't get a chance to watch the ECW stuff. I actually didn't learn about ECW until probably 96, late 96. I really couldn't find it.
Okay.
So like I didn't really see him doing the frog splash until he got to WWE or F whatever it was at the time.
Yeah.
And I just thought he did it like, man, it's like when he hit him and then like his sale afterwards, I think really he got up so high in the sale afterwards, like he hurt himself as much as the other guy. Like it just seemed amazing to me. And Eddie's just looked so pretty. Like, right? But I always thought RVD's looked more vicious. And I like looking. I like Tez's, but I don't think his. In my eyes, I don't feel like he's. Yeah, I don't think he'll be the top 3. I don't know who I'll put at number 3, but the other 2 definitely.
It's so hard to take the character out of the move and my moments and my feelings when I see this move with those people. There's no doubt that Montez Ford has the best frog splash. He gets taller than the Statue of Liberty when he jumps off of the top of the turnbuckle. But it was something about Eddie that was just, okay, it's going to be Eddie. And it's because every time you see somebody do a frog splash now, what do? They represent Eddie. So any new wrestler. So I'm going to go Eddie 1, go Rivet 2, and call him RVD Rivet, and Montez Ford last. And that is purely for the emotions that I feel when I see them execute it. But outside of that, Montez has the best, athletically best frog splash.
So then Montez is number 1 for you then.
If
your
we have to
last sentence
separate
was
it-
Montez Ford has the best frog splash.
Okay.
So then
So,
who? So you got
I'll go
Montez,
Montez,
what?
Eddie, and Rivet.
Okay, Montez. Okay, all 3 of us have different lists. I have, and I thought I was gonna be on an island with having Montez not 3rd. I have Montez 2nd. I have RVD 1st. I have Montez 2nd. I have Eddie 3rd. RVD for everything you said, E. The sell at the end is just like, are you kidding me? Like, that's beautiful, incredible. And I have to, and I feel like this is like blasphemous. I have to put Montez 2nd just because nobody's ever gotten higher than Montez does on the frog splash. And I love Eddie's frog splash, but I just think Montez's, for me, looks better.
Absolutely.
So that was fun that we all 3 of us had different lists.
Can I ask y'all a question about moves?
Yes.
Okay. So we're doing a this for that. Would you rather take the chops that Gunther gave Jay last night?
He beat the shit out of Jay.
or specifically the chops that he gave Jay, or the spears that Bron did?
Oh man, give me the chops all day. You kidding me?
Okay. E?
I don't want none of them chops.
You would take a spear from Bron Breakker before you take a chop?
Yeah.
You must never had the wind knocked out of you before.
No, because I feel like if Brian legit hit me that hard, I'll pass out afterwards.
So you won't remember it, right? I got it.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'll just wake up and be hurt. But I feel like, Gunther would chop me, I'll fall down, and I'll still be alive, and I'll just be hurting for the rest of the day.
Yes, if you ever had, and anybody who's ever had the wind knocked out of them, it's the scariest, most painful, like 4 seconds in your entire life. I've broken bones before. There's nothing you can't describe legitimately getting the wind knocked out of you. Now, of course, if we're talking about in the wrestling ring, Brian knows how to hit you where you're not going to get the wind knocked out of you. But just in case, I'd rather take that chop than take that spear.
my equilibrium be off too much, so I can only imagine like Matt suplexed me and power slammed me this last weekend, and great, he knows how to execute it. And after all these years, I kind of know how to take it on a mattress, but my equilibrium is off. So I'm thinking that if Bron is coming at me with a spear, I think like remember in what was it, the Avengers, when the time sorcerer or whatever she was did the Hawk and pushed him out.
Yeah.
I would feel like I would felt
No,
like
that was in Doctor Strange. Remember?
Okay, no, it was Avengers. Because
No,
remember,
his
he had to
body.
go flip
Well,
the time
yeah, right.
stones.
But
He had to
it
go get
was
the time
Doctor
stones.
Strange though.
Yeah, like he got it was Hawk. It was Hawk. He went to the time sorcerer lady, whatever, the supreme being, and she knocked the Hawk out of him. That's what I feel like I would feel. So I think I might take a chop.
He got 2 chops in the spear. No, he didn't win. No, I'm sorry.
He said no.
Yeah, 2 chops in the spear. 2 chops in the spear. Speaking of Bush, I brought him up earlier. He had a I'm glad I checked it. Something told me just to check it real quick. So he had put he was watching Sunday show. He said, "You guys may drag me for saying this, but I need so much more from Jade before WrestleMania." I said, "Give me some specifics so I can bring this up on the next show." He said, "There's no denying she's a star. I just don't feel like her matches are fluid or smooth. Not necessarily botches per se, but a look over the shoulder, reposition of her body, etc., that makes the spot a bit more obvious, predictable. Sometimes maybe even some uncertainty if she's where she needs to be, etc. I understand she's green, but she's also been thrown in the deep end. Look how Logan shocked us. I need fluidity. I need to see her confidence in her performance. I don't have a issue with that. Take it off."
I mean, I think that's anybody green, and I think we all would agree that Jade is still green. And that's not disrespect. That's just the amount of time that she's been in under the machine.
Yeah, I mean, of course, right? That's why originally I think Rhodesia and I both agree, like, hey, send her to NXT so she can learn a little bit, like, so she can be there every day going through the paces, right? So when she can just make that immediate impact. But I'm fine on the structure she's at right now. She's in a tag team, you know, like her matches aren't too long. They're greatly improved. I think if we see her last 2 matches from the Queen of the Ring tournament and anything she did like a year or so ago in AEW, you'll see the improvement. It's almost night and day. But that just kind of reminds me of like AEW and the women there. When I think of like Anna Jay, like so many of the women from like a skill level just haven't really progressed like they should in the years that they've been there. Think about the women in NXT. Think about Tiffany Stratton. Like, right? She new in the business. I think this is what her 2nd or 3rd year.
I think third.
But she's going toe to toe, having one of the better matches I've seen. Like her match with Bianca the other day, it just really resonated with me. It was one of the better women's matches that I've seen, only simply because I was so invested in it, and she delivered from a physical standpoint. Like, right, like the women in AEW who are just as young, have just as much as experience, are almost like in a holding pattern. They're just not getting better there. So you think about where Jade is. She's at this point, what, about 4 years in the business? And it feels like she's at year 2 in the business from a television viewer perspective. Because I'm not that guy that can watch people work and say, oh, this person's good, this person isn't. And that's like, I know if it looks good or if it doesn't. Like, right? And I just look at her stuff, looks like it's about 2 years behind where it should be for as long as she's been in the ring in comparisons to the other gals that have been in NXT, have come up through that system. So I'll just say, hey, give her some time. She's getting better. I think it's noticeably better every day. She's working with better talent. She's working with veterans. I think definitely from because I think her charisma is untapped, right? I feel like charisma-wise, mic-wise, everything about her will be where it needs to be at WrestleMania because she has all the tools to do so.
And you look at someone like Jade, and she came into her wrestling career kind of like the opposite. So I am able to give her a little bit, the luxury of a little bit of time, because she came in as the big fucking deal. When she got into AEW, went undefeated. She goes to WWE pretty much on the same exact pedestal. Whereas a lot of these other people spend 5, sometimes 10 years in the indies just working on their craft until they get that shot of being on a big company or be with a big company. So
Mm-hmm.
Jay came in the opposite way. So I am willing to give her some time to get it figured out.
Figuring out, we had to, behind the scenes, we had to figure out when we was going to record our next podcast. And I'm like, okay, well, we got 2 big shows this weekend. We got King and Queen of the Ring on Saturday. And then we got Double or Nothing on Sunday. So we're going to record Monday on Memorial Day here in the United States. So we'll record early Monday so you guys can have it. And we'll break down both shows. Do you guys want to do like a quick mini preview for King and Queen of the Ring and or Double or Nothing?
We can go quick on King, Queen of the Ring just because we already talked and we belabored the story in the 2 King and the Queen matches. As far as the other 3 matches, we have just the championships. We have first a triple threat with Sammy, Chad, and Bronson Reed for the IC championship. Let's go with it. Who do you want to win? I'm going to just go with Sammy.
I want Sammy to win because I need that one-on-one match at a high profile show. So I mean, Monday went exactly like I thought. Okay, you have Gable go over. Sorry, Bronson, you got to eat the pin in Saudi. It's going to happen. To keep the Chad. Well, maybe not, because maybe Otis does something. That could be a thing because they really leaned into that. But I do want, I still want a Gable Sammy match for the title. So give me Sammy. He don't even want to talk.
You said
Cold
period,
world.
Oh, so I was on mute the whole time. I had already answered the question. And everything. I had no idea that it was red, right? Man, like I was like, I already said Sammy. Look what y'all looking at me for. Sammy.
Got it. Let's go to the women's championship. We have, is this Liv time?
This is a big one, man. This is a big one. E, what'd you think of that promo segment on Raw?
You know what? Maybe I think too much of it. I don't really remember it doesn't stand out to me.
Okay.
And I just heard it from the bathroom. I just heard Liv.
And you said you didn't think
screaming.
It sounded good.
No, it didn't sound good at all from the bathroom.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm a Liv fan. I'm a pretty big Liv fan. So I like the work she's doing as a heel. I thought Becky's promo made sense. It was your typical babyface kind of, hey, let's galvanize the fan base type promo. But it feels like this isn't the time yet because they are still doing stuff with Liv and the Judgment Day. I don't know if many people peeped it at all on Raw Monday. So we know a couple weeks ago, we saw Liv and Dom in the back. In the beginning of the show, it was Finn and Liv leaving the car at separate times, same car. So it just feels like they haven't done enough yet for her to be crowned champion to kind of tell that story with the Judgment Day. So, I mean, I want Liv to win. So my answer is give me Liv for sure. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
No, give me Becky. It just doesn't feel like, as you said, it doesn't feel like it's Liv's time just yet. I'm all about like when these men and women win these championships, I feel like it should be in their final form.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right? Like we should know who they are as a character. We should have their motivation should be clear. Like they should be at the top of their form before they get that championship right now. And I feel like we are still in the transitioning phase with Liv to where like I can't like now she I think she's doing a good job as being a heel. Like I heard her little segment she has with Lyra. It goes a long way. I think she's kind of really getting into that heel role. But I don't feel like she's where she needs to be yet. So I'm looking for maybe a Becky win and we continue to tell the story with Liv transition to be one of the better heels.
I didn't want Becky to win the championship at Mania or after Mania because she didn't. And then what happened with Rhea and Becky won it. I get what you're saying that Liv is not in her final form. I 100% agree with that. but there really is no time in the present for her because she is doing planting these seeds. And so your next big opportunity to do something like this would be what? Money in the Bank. I'm going to go with Liv because I want Becky to go on vacation. Hell of a reason why.
You just don't want her on TV. But proceed.
The last one, listen. So now we have the final match, but I'm still confused to this moment. Just a few days before King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring, we have champion versus champion with Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul. I still don't really know what championship is up for.
Just
grab.
Cody's.
Okay.
Just Cody's. So Cody wins.
Cody wins.
Of course.
They should open the show because there's nothing.
It'd be a fun match.
Yeah. Cody opens.
But Cody wins.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That was something else he said too that I thought was really interesting. The busted open. Well, it's not really interesting. It was just a cool peek behind the curtain. He talked about coming off of arguably like the best title reign ever. What did his title reign look like? Like, what does he want to kind of be known for? And he was saying like what kind of matches to have, et cetera, et cetera. And he was like, you know, AJ was the perfect first opponent because of what AJ brings and what that would look like in terms of the matches that Roman was having. He was talking about it was legit cinema with Roman. It was the bloodline interfering and that whole story thing. And he's like, you know, so I wanted to make my title reign feel differently. So he talked about AJ and he was like, and then who else better for next up to be Logan Paul? It was just cool just to kind of hear him talk about the perception of who he's wrestling and what that looks like in comparison to what we've seen for the last 4 years with Roman. So I thought that was really cool.
All right. So it has a special start time this Saturday. I think it's either 11 or 1 o'clock. I'm not exactly sure.
And I don't know when we're going to watch.
Yeah, I don't need
that. We got a road trip. So we'll watch, of course, before Monday, but maybe Sunday sometime. Yeah. So we'll be in the dark for that show. And we all agree it's going to be Gunther and Orton with Gunther winning, right?
Yes. Sorry, we didn't address that. And then we have Lyra versus Nia. Are we going to say Nia's going to advance?
Correct. And I think Nia's going to win. Mm-hmm. If they put Lyra over Nia, whoa, boy. It'd be interesting.
I think they'll boo her ass when she come back from the States.
Nuts.
We don't have to preview Double or Nothing, and I say that because I just hate doing like I know we do it with SmackDown because SmackDown is typically a day before the show. I just hate previewing it when we don't even have any of the week's TV. But you brought up a great. But wait,
we have a full card though. In a year ago, 2 years ago, we didn't have cards.
Have a full card. No, we
this
always
much
have
in
a full
advance.
card.
I'm saying this much in
yes,
advance.
No, we always have 8. No, we just get to 14 the week of. Okay, we always got 8.
Touche.
That's a minimum. But E had brought up earlier 5 years of AEW this weekend, of course, because that was where it started all in Vegas. We were in the building for then. So it'd be kind of cool. Maybe just real quickly talk about like the last 5 years of AEW. What I personally just want to say is it's been a godsend for wrestling fans in the wrestling business for AEW to be here. Love AEW, hate AEW. You're right in the middle with AEW. Everybody should be able to agree that if it wasn't for AEW, the business wouldn't be as healthy as it is, and damn sure WWE wouldn't be as good as they are if it wasn't for AEW. The combination of AEW and Vince stepping down has been fantastic for us as fans and for, I think, the talent in WWE. But imagine what the landscape was 5 years ago, like today, before AEW started. You had one major show in town. You had wrestlers who, from what we heard, was walking on eggshells backstage and hated, being there. And we know that's the case because look at how many jumped when they had a chance. You had WWE laying off wrestlers and them having to go to the indies, and that was it. And the indies wasn't really that strong 5 years ago. There were certain major big ones, but nothing like it is now. It's just been incredible. It's been incredible to see. I know we talk more negatively about AEW than positively overall, but that's because we just want them to be better, and we know they can be better. They've shown they can be better. If they ever will be, who knows? It's bad when like I start agreeing with Brian Alvarez. He had a clip up that I retweeted and put my 2 cents on it, just kind of talking about, TV not meaning anything right now. There's no reason to watch Collision outside of good matches. He said, Dynamite doesn't do cliffhangers. That's wrong. I think Dynamite has done a really good job with cliffhangers ever since they really leaned into Jack Perry being back and the heel EVPs. I think we saw 3 shows that absolutely had a cliffhanger. So I think they're trying, but they just have to do a better job. They don't know how to write TV. And I think that would take care of, honestly, all of their issues. I really do. If Tony would just say, you know what? I'm tired of hearing y'all talking about we don't know how to write good TV. I'm going to hire somebody who knows how to write wrestling television. I think we would see it immediate change and difference for what we like anyway. Once again, if you just like great matches, you don't think there's a problem. But the problem with just great matches is people are not going to tune in weekly just to see great matches. They're not going to buy tickets whenever you come just for great matches. You got to be invested in what you're seeing. But overall, I'm happy for them. I'm proud of them for doing what they've done. They're doing something now at this point we haven't seen. I think they're going to outlast WCW in regards to when WCW was hot. I think AEW is going to outlast them. It's been fantastic. So what do you guys think about just the first 5 years of AEW?
It is so incredibly hard to follow what you just said there. You should have saved that for last and had us go first. But about 6 years ago, you had the elite say that they were going to change the world. And that is exactly what they did. For the fan who loved pro wrestling, who said, hey, we want a little bit more edginess. We don't necessarily want PG because we are grown adults. Give us something that didn't insult our intelligence. Give us something that we can be excited for. You bring us first all in, and then with the same original pillars who created it, you dawn or birth AEW 5 years ago, which again, we were there. The was a Starcast, I think it was called, that we went to. I just remember feeling as a wrestling fan like I was almost like an insider. And what I mean by insider, not because of media or podcasting or journalism, none of that, just an insider of like family. It felt originally like this was something that was created out of the love and straight passion for pro wrestling. Not about money, not about marketing, sponsorships, none of that. Just purely out of the love of professional wrestling. The fans that was there, and I just remember that feeling. That probably is some of my most favorite times of being a wrestling fan. I told you also at that time, my evolution of a fan changed too, because I was introduced to the indies and how hard and how much these people will work for them to sign a $10 photo so they can make that money. And I'm used to people on WWE, and you see them, you can only imagine the contracts they had. My evolution as a fan changed too. And I was just so proud. And even to this day, and I'm so proud. And that's probably why I'm considered the resident AEW correspondent, because I am so still passionate about AEW, because it feels like my family still. Now, can I outgrow my family? Absolutely. People leave their hometown all the time. They leave home all the time, but they still have love for that family. They only ever want their family to do well. And that's kind of where I'm at. And the difference is we do have something that's so amazing. We're from Detroit, all of us. But hey, if someone says, hey, why don't you come and move down to Hawaii, and it's going to check all the boxes that you love, which is really amazing weather all the time, good food, the sun, blah, 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 blah. Of course you're going to want that more. Hey, that's what you want. Now your family, your hometown is still the hometown. 12 inches of snow one day and you still had to walk to school and all that stuff. That's all memories. That's still all something that built character within you. So for me, I am so proud of AEW. You asked a question on the last pod, will we see them, or are they going to be the same in either 7 years from now? I think that was the timeline. And I said yes to that because I believe that they will. I do believe that there is going to be a group of people who still absolutely love AEW and will support them. I am now done, though, comparing the two as far as gauging their success compared to WWE. But I'm so proud of them. I wish them another 5 years of amazingness and for them to grow, because again, I do know that they have the talent to do it. Now we just need them to consistently write episodic weekly television.
Yeah, totally agree with both of you guys. For me, 5 years ago, like I was in love with AEW. I watched every show, Dark, Elevation. I spent a lot of time watching AEW programming, and it was great for me because at the time, WWE was rough with me. I was on my way out. I like Matt and I would talk about it, and I would be so down on the product, and Matt would always call me the jaded fan. I can't believe, and I'm like, Matt, I can't get into this WWE stuff, man.
Dude,
It's
I've
horrible.
only said that once, man. But
You said it
I let
1,000
you go off
times.
with it because I love the
Yeah.
narrative. But I've only called you jaded fan once, and I
No,
think
yeah,
actually it was over
or
AEW
twice.
too.
It
It was over
twice.
AEW.
It's your favorite. It's a word that slides out. You don't remember when you say it, but like it just was a bad time period. I got to a point to where I considered not watching wrestling anymore because I couldn't watch WWE programming. I felt like it was insulting my intelligence. I felt like 3 hours of Raw was a grind. I got to a point and I realized I'm like, wait, why am I watching 3 hours of TV that I don't like? Why am I fast forwarding through a 3 hour program to find something that I like? I have things that I like to do. I can just take that time for myself and do something else. So I almost stopped being a fan until I started watching NXT. NXT, like, okay, this is great. This is just exactly what the doctor ordered. And I started watching ROH, and I started seeing the Bucks, and then Cody left and joined like the Bullet Club and the Kenny, and the whole thing just was a phenomenal uproar. Then we got to is it All In or All Out? I keep getting those
All
things
In.
mixed up.
All In was the first one. All In was the first one.
Because
All In, what a great show.
All In, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What a great show, right? And as Rhodesia said, like it felt like you were with family, right? With the wrestling audience. It's like the passion from the wrestlers, the passion from the fans. You felt it. And then the birth of AEW, right? When I would go to those AEW shows, it felt like a party.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right? Like you just felt like the energy and the passion in the air, and you saw it with the wrestlers. It just was a great feeling. So, yes, I'm proud that AEW has lasted this long. I feel in my heart that's going to continue to last even longer, but in what way? Like, right? Because for me, when I first turned on the show, I looked at it and said, I don't like this about this show. I don't like this about this show. But hey, the potential is unbound, right? Like this show could be really great. And for a long time, the things that the show was really, really good with overshadowed the things I didn't like. Right now, we're getting to the point to where that's not necessarily the case. And to be quite honest with you, I'm a little sad and a little worried with AEW. Just recently, because just the three of us, right? Like I've had the same issues, but just 2 months ago, you guys were like, "Yeah, AEW is a good product," and then 2 months later, now we're uninvested into one of their biggest pay-per-views, if not their biggest pay-per-view that they have coming up, and that's not just to pick on you guys, but how many other super hardcore fans has that happened to? Right? And I just hope that it's not too late, because we saw WCW. Like we saw, Matt and I lived through the demise of WCW. What happened with them? One of the hottest shows, right? At least for 87 weeks. Like, right?
Yeah, right.
At least for every 7 weeks, they were beating WWE, right? And it still was a hot product a little bit after that. And then they went from one of the hottest promotions ever to being out of business a couple years later. We got this TV deal right now. We haven't heard the announcements. I know that WB is having a big announcement with their sports stuff soon, and AEW isn't on the docket. Like, right? I know that WB has also lost the NBA, which is going to be wild. Right? I can't think of the last time I haven't seen an NBA game on, TNT or TBS. Like, right, that has to be a big blow for them. So you got to think, all right, just from a business perspective from WB, are they going to start making some changes to how they do? Are they going to rebrand? Like, right? And if they rebrand, this is what happened with Turner years ago with WCW. New management came in, new directive. We don't wrestle on our TV anymore. We're going to a different route. Where's that leave AEW? Like, how many suitors do they really have that can give them a big contract to keep them out there. We know Tony Khan has money, but he needs TV too.
Exactly.
Right. So for me, for the next couple of years, I just want to see the show get better. I feel like they've been stagnant. The show's gotten better in some ways, but when we look at the show, I think the production's the same as it was 5 years ago. The storylines are getting better, but I tell you what we're getting more of is all these goddamn championships. And they got 20 championships, and in some ways, Swerve just was crowned the first black champion, and it doesn't feel like it's as big as it should be. Why? Because we got an international champion. We got a continental champion. We got a TNT champion, all having main events match. When you watch the show, you don't know what championship is higher than the other. We know one's the world, but they all seem to kind of be on equal footing a little bit, right? So I'm a little worried in the direction with the company. I'm a little worried with the CV deal coming up. I have hope that the show will continue to get better, because it has. You mentioned, Matt, that Brian Alvarez was wrong about the cliffhanger. Now we're getting cliffhangers in the past couple weeks, right? And that's not long enough to build a trend. I hope they continue that trend, right? We get the good episode of TV. But as he said in that clip, and I saw it as well, and it resonated with me, like, I still don't have a reason to watch Collision. I still don't have a reason to watch Rampage. Right. So just for me, first 5 years, I would say the first 3.5 years, amazing. The last 2 years has been a big downfall. And
you know what's so funny?
They can stop it and they can build on.
It's so funny you say that, because I was just about to say, the three of us, we never even had this conversation. I know for 100% fact, in the last 5 years, we've had more fun and enjoyed ourselves more at AEW shows than WWE shows in the last 5 years. In the last 2 years, no, absolutely not. The last 5, absolutely yes. And I would just love for that feeling to come back. I remember sitting in the crowd in the AEW shows probably either 3 or 4 years ago. And I remember just looking around, and I remember telling Matt, he was sitting to my right, or he was sitting to my left. I remember looking at him and saying, this is what it's supposed to feel like. This is what it should be. And man, and once again, this goes in cycles.
Hey Matt, that's what I said. That's what I said my first time I got in there, and I said,
"Oh, all righty then.
Like.
We are going to go ahead and wrap the show."
Well, usually, I encourage this kind of behavior.
Actually, I don't think I said anything. Let me think. I don't think I said anything. I think it was just done pretty quick. It wasn't done as quick as people made it seem, but it was quick. And I just remember I was like, I got to do that again. And I ain't been right ever since. Damn it. I'm sorry, Rhodesia. What were you saying?
I usually encourage this behavior, but we do need a wrap. So, final question of the night. Who wins this weekend? Double or Nothing AEW Sunday night? Or Saturday afternoon? PLE and Saudi?
We're talking about just which one's the better show?
Sure. However you interpret it. Who wins the weekend?
I think it's not even close. It should be AEW. We're getting
it's not even close.
Mercedes in the ring for the first time. Okay. We're getting a barbed wire steel cage match with Malachi Black and the Colt. We're getting Swerve's first legit
His name is Edge, man. His name's Edge.
I wish they would have done something besides Adam Copeland. It's too close to Adam Cole too.
So close.
We're getting it's going to be Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing is going to be a better show than King and Queen of the Ring.
I'm going King and Queen in the Ring. To be honest with you, I have more investment from a character perspective and story perspective on the show. And it's on a Saturday. It's not going to be 100 hours. For me, it's going to be the King and the Queen in the Ring for sure.
As your AEW correspondent, AEW Double or Nothing will be the winner of this weekend. We have 22 matches that's going to be put on. So at that point, they're going to win just off of that alone.
Wait, I'm skipping. Is it 22 matches?
No, they haven't announced.
It's only 8 right now. It's only 8 right now.
I was about to say, like, wait a minute now, hold up. I ain't signed up for this. I ain't
would
signed up
love
for
for
this.
them to stick to 8. I would love for them to
Yes.
stick to 8. I really
Mhm.
would. But yeah, I'm not watching the buy-in again. I just can't. I just can't do it. And they just announced today that All Out in September has been moved a week back. So you guys know it was All In and then All Out the prior week. Now they're pushing it a week back, which is
Now, I don't like that. I think
love
that
it.
if you were going to move something, you should have moved All In then sooner. But I love Labor Day weekend as All Out. That to me was my WrestleMania. Like, you go back to school, everything picks
But
back up.
that's not fair because you've been to all the so you're saying it from somebody who goes to every single
Exactly.
All
It was a
Out.
tradition from
Yeah,
just like if they don't come for Thanksgiving to Chicago. Like that to me, I feel like, hold on, that's been a tradition since you've been around. You've always came back to Chicago at Thanksgiving time. So to me, like
well,
Labor Day
what
weekend
you can
was
do,
us.
Miss Pretty Lady, you can buy tickets to the July 3rd Dynamite show here in Chicago, and then you can celebrate your
September
4th of
9th,
July.
here we come.
Exactly.
it
So
is.
I'm still trying to talk E and Brandon into coming for All Out. But yeah, it's going to be September 7th, which is a Saturday.
7th,
So I'm
okay.
excited about that. But
cool.
I am excited for that show. We'll be going there. One thing that I forgot to mention, my apologies. We were guests on the Pro Wrestling Talk for Piston Fans podcast. I said I was going to bring it up on Sunday show, and I completely forgot. So my bad. We actually recorded that show last Tuesday, and he released it, I believe, on Wednesday or Thursday of last week. Super fun.
So much fun.
Episode. If you guys have not checked it out, check it out. Of course, you can just search Pro Wrestling Talk for Piston Fans wherever you get your podcasts. I know he's on Apple. I believe he's on Spotify too. But we had about a 45-minute conversation, just kicked it, talking about, it was a lot of this or that. It's supposed to have been one-word questions. Rhodesia got a problem with one-word questions. She don't believe in that.
Hey, man.
Because she tried to give her entire life story when it came down to WCW, Prime WCW, or WWE Now. And Rhodesia gave like her legit biography on life and everything else. So, but it was a fun, very fun show. So shout out to Pro Wrestling Talk for Piston Fans. Thanks for having us on there and looking forward to doing that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are out of here. We're back on Monday, Memorial Day. Everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. I know weather here in this area is going to be fantastic. E, what you doing for Memorial Day weekend?
We're gonna have the family over. Probably do a little barbecue. You know what I'm talking about? A little eat good. You know, then I'll, go, watch wrestling alone on Sunday for 6 hours.
Aww.
You said that
in the
kind of
cold,
sad.
In the cold man cave.
Aww.
Invite Brandon over.
Hey, I'm gonna have somebody, do a wellness check. I'm gonna pre-schedule a wellness check. I don't know if I'm gonna be, face up or face down on the rug after watching that match, but yeah, guys, let's get it.
We'll FaceTime.
So you'll be doing some barbecuing.
We'll FaceTime you Sunday night.
Yes, we'll be back. We're going to Detroit for a birthday party. Shout out to Rich. I don't even know if he listens to the pod. I know he was before, but he don't watch wrestling, so wouldn't expect him to listen. But he's got a birthday party, and that's on Saturday. And then our plans to come right back on Sunday, so we can be locked into Double or Nothing and first to record the pod. And then we got Monday, which is the actual holiday itself. So should be fun. Rhodesia was representing her elite shirt. Change the
world, baby.
And indeed, once again, congrats to AEW. Not discounting what they've done has been tremendous to see. And we just hope for growth. And as Triple H and Shawn Michaels and WWE and NXT said when AEW kicked the shit out of them and they had to move, it is a marathon and not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
So AEW, it is a marathon, not a sprint. Time for you guys to get your feet put back under you. We out of here. Socials. I haven't done them yet, but it's not like y'all listen anyway at this point because I've been asking for reviews on the pod. Nope.
Okay.
Man, we should strike. Twitter. We should strike until we start getting more comments and 5-star reviews. We should just not even do podcasts anymore. We should just shut down and only give it to people who've done the comments, and we just send it right to them. Yeah, maybe not. All right, y'all.
Yeah.
We out of here. We'll talk to y'all on Monday.